How do we cultivate forgiveness? Renee Napier certainly knows how. Her daughter Megan was a drunken driver accident victim. Eric Smallridge was intoxicated when the vehicle he was driving struck another, instantly killing Megan and her friend Lisa, both 20 years old. Renee knows the incomprehensible grief associated with the sudden loss of a child, and she dedicated her life to preventing more deaths by raising awareness of drunken driving. She successfully conducted events across Florida, but as she told ABC News, she kept feeling like something was missing. She knew if she could involve Eric in her presentations, it would be powerful. Prior to his prison release, Eric was allowed to join Renee in her events. Still wearing his prison uniform, he emphatically told people, "Don't be me. I never intended to be in this uniform. The consequences of my one decision to drive drunk were far too great." How does a mother find courage to work with the very man who took her daughter's life? How could this same person also advocate and obtain an early release for a man who had 10 years left to serve on a 22-year prison sentence for manslaughter? Indira Gandhi said, "Forgiveness is a virtue of the brave." I could be angry, hateful, and bitter, Napier said in a Gulf Breeze News interview, but I didn't want to live my life that way. There was no way I could move on and live a happy life without forgiving Eric. Napier has said that she has grown to love Smallridge and his family and now considers him to be like a son to her. What would you do if you faced this life-altering tragedy? Could you forgive this person? Would you forgive this person? And how do you cultivate forgiveness? Everett L. Worthington Jr., a professor of psychology and the author of Forgiveness and Reconciliation, Theory and Applications, divides forgiveness into two types, decisional and emotional. Decisional forgiveness involves a choice to let go of angry and vengeful thoughts about the person you feel has wronged you. Emotional forgiveness involves replacing the negative emotions of unforgiveness with positive feelings like compassion, sympathy, and empathy. For the Christian, we understand that we can forgive because we were forgiven. Jesus took the sins of humanity upon himself even though he had committed no sin. I believe that forgiveness began with a decision and continues today as you and I continually make the decision to forgive. How do religions view forgiveness? According to Worthington's website, most religions advocate forgiveness. Christianity, for example, tends to advocate forgiving unilaterally, and its believers are often urged to make their own decision to forgive personal offenses, even when forgiveness doesn't seem to be justified or deserved. Both Mrs. Roberts and Mrs. Napier found the power to forgive and the power to live through their faith. What is forgiveness? Bishop T.D. Jakes says, "We think that forgiveness is weakness, but it's absolutely not. It takes a very strong person to forgive. Forgiveness is exonerating that person who does not deserve it." Jesus said as he hung on the cross, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Perhaps the real strength of forgiveness is knowing that we can forgive those who sin against us because we have been forgiven. Like the Napiers and the Amish neighbor in the earlier story, forgiveness released Eric for something for which he could not forgive himself for and set the Roberts on their course of healing. Alexander Pope said in the 17th century, "To err is human, to forgive divine." Today, I believe that you can find the power of divine forgiveness. You can accept Jesus forgiveness in your life for your own wrongdoings, sins, and shortcomings. And you can freely forgive those who have wronged you. Jesus said there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. If you're looking for forgiveness today, I want you to say this with me. Say, Jesus, I believe you forgave me 2,000 years ago. And right now, I receive your forgiveness and I ask you, come into my heart now. Now, if you prayed that prayer, I want you to go to our website and find the tools that we have for you. Tools that will help you find a life full of love, faith, and hope in the future.